Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bella, and this is a video about getting your service dog to Hawaii. There's a couple of things I want to start off with, and that is that this is a video for service dogs specifically and not pet dogs, and that this is for a vacation to Hawaii and not for moving to Hawaii. There's also a couple things I want to preface, and that is that we were actually in Maui, and we were in one of the towns that had fires, which was Lahaina in Maui. And I just want to make this video with love and respect and understanding for the loss that has happened and been happening, as well as the fact that I'm in the United States, and so this is the process for the United States that we had to go through and not for other countries. I have notes here, I've been looking at them, and there's just a lot of steps, and I wanted to make sure everything was clear and that I didn't miss anything, and so I'm looking down at those to read them. I believe I have 5 long steps with lots of little baby steps in between to talk about. So let's just start off with the first 2 things. The first thing is that your dog must have a microchip implanted, and that you must know the number on the microchip, as well as that your dog must have a current rabies vaccination. The third step is to talk to your vet about any papers you might need. I'm pretty sure that's just to get your dog's 2 most recent rabies vaccine certificates. You can email them, you might have to call them, you might have to go in, but it's just a paper. Somewhere on the screen I'll put a photo up of it, and that's just what ours looks like from our vet. They could look different from different vets, but it just says things like the fact that your dog has a rabies vaccination, the serial number on the vaccine, what lot it was from, things like that. And then at that vet appointment, if you choose to get the papers at the vet appointment you make, your dog will also need to get a blood draw for the FAVN test. It's FAVN, and it's a test to see that the vaccine for rabies is in your dog's blood and that it's working and protecting them against rabies. And this is because in Hawaii, actually, none of the animals have rabies on the island, so they are very careful introducing new, I believe it's just mammals, to their state. When we got the blood from the vet, they packaged it up for us, and they gave us the option for them to mail it to the location that tests for it, or for us to mail it. They gave it to us with the recommendation that we would be able to take it to UPS and put like a 1-day shipping on the box or whatever. Your vet may not allow that. Your vet may have to send it in themselves, I'm not sure. But just that takes a long time. I believe the FAVN test results were one of the longest things we waited for. I think quickest, they say it takes 4 to 6 weeks. And so once you've shipped out the blood for that test, I recommend scheduling an appointment with your vet at that appointment for within 14 days of your trip to get a health certificate from your vet for the dog to make sure they're in good health, as well as to give them flea and tick medicine. The vet has to provide one within 14 days of your trip. The health certificate can be within 30 days of your trip, not just the 14 that the flea and tick medicine has to be within, but I just recommend doing it with the 14-day appointment because it doesn't make sense to have 2 appointments. The next step depends whether you're going to a neighbor island or the main island of Hawaii. I don't remember the main island name, but it's like called the main island and it has a name. And so if you're going to the main island, you can forget about step 4 is what I'm about to talk about. But if you're going to an island that isn't the main island, you need something called a Neighbor Island Inspection Permit, which from now on I'm just going to call the NIIP, which is a permit to bring your dog to an island, to land at an airport on an island that isn't the main island. And there's a couple steps for that process. The first step is that you need to schedule a post-arrival inspection appointment with an approved vet. I'm going to put the approved vets for the different islands in the description. There's probably a handful for each island. And you just tell them, hey, me and my service dog are going to be flying in at this and this time from this airline, and they will get through security, and they will meet you right at the gate just to take a look at the dog, feel their joints and stuff, look at their teeth, look in their ears, look in their eyes, just make sure that they're in good health. And for that process to happen, you need to land no later than like 4:30 or 5 p.m. because the vets close, obviously. And then the next step is to submit your required paperwork to get the inspection permit. You do have to mail it, you cannot fax it, so you need to plan time for all of these long things to happen in the mail. And the things you need to send in that, we did like one of those yellow envelopes that's like printer paper, sheet of paper sized. And the things you need in that are the completed and signed AQS 279 form. I'll put a photo up somewhere of what that looks like. And then you need your 2 most recent rabies vaccine certificates that you hopefully have gotten from your vet earlier. You need a payment of $165 in a cashier's check or a money order. I didn't know what either of those were. I had to figure them out. We did a cashier's check because money order just sounded a lot harder, but whatever works for you. You'll need to provide your flight information. We just took pictures from I think we were flying Southwest, I might be wrong, but we just took screenshots of our flight information with like the flight number, the time of arrival, things like that. And then after you send that all in the mail to the animal quarantine station, I believe, I'll put it on the screen if it's not the animal quarantine station. If it's not the animal quarantine station, I'll put it up on the screen. But then you just need to wait and check your email for an email with a PDF that says NIIP, or the Neighbor Island Inspectioning Permit. And then you'll need to print that out and bring that with you. I have this blue folder. Whenever we travel, we fill it up with all of her paperwork that she needs, whether that be the DOT form, which is anytime you fly anywhere, you need to fill out a Department of Transportation form for service dog. Or things like with Hawaii, we had a lot more paperwork. We had like her FAVN results, her Neighbor Island inspection permit, all those things. And then your 5th step is to go to your vet within the 14 days of your trip, just for your vet to give you a flea and tick medicine. Ours is combined with a heartworm pill. It looks like a treat. It tastes good to them. They give it to the dog, and then they do an exam on them for a health certificate, which just proves that they're in good health. And then I believe that was everything. I do want to say a couple things, like the fact that this was a long and stressful process. Now that I've applied to college, it was harder than that, which is not something I expected. It's one of the most government things, one of the hardest things I've ever done, was to get all this information and turn it in with not enough time. We started with about a month and a half of time, and you need a lot more than that. I would recommend starting about 6 months ahead of your trip if you plan that far ahead. I know a lot of people don't plan their trips that far in advance, but it's really something that you need to start planning in advance if you plan on bringing your service dog with you to Hawaii. And it was very expensive. It was one of the most expensive trips we've been on, being just that it was Hawaii and all of the blood tests and the vet tests and the paperwork. It was a very expensive process, and it was a very close call for us. We got the Neighbor Island inspection permit only a couple days before we needed to leave. And I just want you to give yourself enough time. I say start 6 months ahead of time and start getting things done slowly. Lamb, she laid by the pool all day long. I got my first tattoo in Hawaii because you can be 16 and up with parental consent there, I believe, maybe younger. But it was the most beautiful, rewarding thing after I got it done. And I just wanted to make that process a little bit easier on you by putting all the steps into one video. I believe those were all the papers I wanted to put up on the screen. Oh, I was going to show what the FAVN report looks like, I think. So I'll put that up now. And that was it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.